So let's talk about Boohoo. I normally do a trading update. Well, when the trading update comes out with Boohoo, I normally do a video on that trading update and talk about it. So I thought I'd do the same again today. A little funny story. This is my third time trying to record this video. First time my camera ran out of memory, and the second time someone came around with a parcel. So third time lucky, here we go. But yeah, we're going to talk about Boohoo. It's a stock that I own, and yeah, when it comes out with a trading update, I normally talk about it, so we'll do it again. And I know quite a few guys follow my channel for some Boohoo content as well. So yeah, getting on to Boohoo, initially with the share price reaction, obviously the stock is down 11% today, and in general the market is quite red, so I would have expected it to be probably down anyway. And I think because the market is so aggressively down as well, originally when I saw these earnings, my initial reaction was they were a little bit below what I was expecting. I knew they were going to be not great earnings, obviously that's priced into the share price right now. And I initially thought, okay, I expect it's probably down 5% today, but obviously it was down 11%. It was down a little bit more and did put a bit of a recovery in as the day went on. But yeah, my initial reaction was they weren't. Obviously, we knew they were going to be bad, but even then, I think they were a little bit below expectations. But I think because we're having such a red day out there in the markets, that's why it dragged it down even more than what I was kind of expecting with this one, as posted on Discord a little bit earlier, and my initial reactions on it. So yeah, I mean, the big thing with Boohoo is that I am not looking at this company. People come on the channel all the time like, oh, you haven't talked about Boohoo for 3 weeks. Have you sold it out? I invest for companies for the long term, so 2, 3, 4, 5 years until I know if it has been successful or if it hasn't been successful investment. And with Boohoo, I'm thinking that Boohoo will return to the days of that. We're talking, put 100 million in profit, which would be fantastic if it did do that. At these sort of prices, 20% revenue growth. That's where I'm investing in Boohoo, and that's my goal in the long term. I'm not really bothered where the company will be in the next few months. And you look at the share price right now, and obviously the share price is really priced in that the company is going to stay kind of really down these kind of levels for a very long time. And that's why even with these really bad financials, it's only really down, like 11%, because a lot of it's priced in that Boohoo's done. It's never going to come back, and I think that's obviously why I'm investing into it. So we'll talk about this trading update. And yeah, just on a side note, I mean, did you see ASOS down 30% and the Hook Group down 22% today? It's an ugly day out there in the stock market, and I mean, this kind of sums it up. You got 3 companies here, and you can't tell me that. Obviously, we're having a few problems in the economy right now, and I think there's some opportunities out here. I think when these tough times go away for some of these companies, you're going to be left with some great prices for these companies. You can't tell me both Boohoo, ASOS, and Hook Group are companies that are going to fail. Maybe one of them's had the day in the sun and they've peaked, and that's it now. They're on the decline, but not all 3 of them. I think there's some opportunities out here, and I'd probably own the Hook Group if I didn't own Boohoo. They're always in the headlines, so that's why I probably don't own Boohoo and the Hook Group. But yeah, I think there's some opportunities out here. But anyway, getting on to the Boohoo and the trading update. So yeah, like I said, my initial reactions was I knew it was going to be bad, but it's probably a little bit worse than what I was hoping for. The UK growth was down 1%. I wanted to still see good growth there. Obviously, it was a tough period of time. I think the next quarter will be a lot better as people going out more, festival season. But this is the market that I want to still see hold up for Boohoo, and it was down 1%. I still want to see a little bit more growth here, and this is probably what I was a bit disappointed about. The rest of the Europe was down, which I was expected. Unfortunately, until shipping issues calmed down and the cost as well, this is going to be down. So yeah, down 9%. US was down 28%. Same again, I probably wanted this to not be as bad as this. So that was a little bit disappointing, but I knew it wasn't going to be great. And rest of the world was up 15%, but it is the smallest category here, which I guess was a little bit of a positive actually. UK sales improved month on month in the period and returned to net sales growth in May. So this issue that we did start resolving itself, which is positive. Like I said, we do still want to see this in high single growth. So yeah, that is at least it was. We are moving back in the right direction. Gross margins for the 3 months, 52.8% down to 220 points versus a strong prior year. So yeah, we know gross margins are still being hit, probably about what I was expecting, to be fair. The group continued to increase its sourcing for nearshore markets to reduce exposure to the elevated inbound freight costs. So we can see here that they're actually starting to go to more closer to home producers to kind of keep them gross margins down, which obviously hopefully helps the company more and more going forward. They also tighten up their inventory levels as well to try and save costs as well. Now, probably the key bit, which is obviously the guidance, what does the group expect? Has this quarter impacted them that they're reducing the guidance for the rest of the year? That's obviously the key thing. So what was stated was the group's outlook for the year ending 28th of February 2023 remains unchanged. Revenue growth for financial year 23 is expected to be low single digits with a return to growth in Q2 and growth rates improving in the second half of this year as the group annualizes higher return rates and normalizing consumer demand. So that's the key bit. No change in the outlook, which is an important bit. We didn't want to have a decrease in the outlook. And this is the thing now. This is the tough point that's always been said. This is the point where when we get to the back half of the year, we see the rebound. So it looks like they're still forecasting that, and they will have the numbers out here right now and be able to still forecast that, which is positive. So this is hopefully the worst part where we start moving forward from here and we start pushing into that, the recovery phase right now, which is positive. Adjusted EBITDA margins are expected to be between 4 and 7%. So it's good to see that these haven't got any worse, in line with prior guidance as the group continues to be affected by pandemic-related inflationary factors and that negatively impact costs with its supply chain. That's basically what they said with the outlook. So good to see that these results aren't any worse than what was expected from the company's point of view, and the long-term growth plan is still in place. Now, there was an investor and analyst conference call, which unfortunately I've not been able to listen to yet because it was at 8:30 a.m. Unfortunately, I start work at 8 a.m. and I do finish at around about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I'm literally got in, recorded this video for you. So there might be some secret things on there or secret gems that might have been in there, or talking about parts of the business. I'd love to know more about like how the Boohoo situations, the Debenhams position is going, which hasn't been mentioned at all, and hopefully some analysts has some detail on it. I'm going to listen to that conference call, so if there's anything that is interesting, I'll put that down on the Discord for you guys on the Discord. I'll probably listen to that in about 2 hours time, so there might be some information on there that I did miss that might be really interesting, so just thought I'd shout that one out there. But yeah, overall my thoughts were it was a little bit below what I was expecting. However, it's good to see that the company is starting to rebound from here, and hopefully this is the worst period of time now. And like I said, hopefully this carries on, rebuilding from here. We go back to, 10-20% revenue growth. We start pushing back towards 100 million in profit. And I think, like I said, I'm here for the long term. And I think if we have Boohoo go back to them sort of numbers, I think Boohoo is a very good valuation for them sort of numbers. And like I said, at the moment, Boohoo's priced at the moment, it's going to continue at these sort of levels going forward. And if it does go back to what I was saying just a second ago, then I think this is going to be a fantastic return on the share price. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Boohoo at the moment. Obviously, not a great quarter, but it was kind of expected, even though it was probably a little bit worse than what I wanted. But in the long-term game plan, I still think we could be on the right path, and hopefully when we get the next trading update, we start to see the numbers go back to kind of a bit of a recovery here, which has always been stated by Boohoo. The back end of the year will be the stronger part. So yeah, that's my initial thoughts on it. I guess I'll finish off with like my thoughts on buying Boohoo. At the moment, I'm not buying Boohoo just because I think there's some opportunities out there with companies that are actually still performing financially amazing, and the share price is being beaten down. So I'm focusing on them ones in particular at the moment. But if Boohoo comes out with a strong update through the kind of August, September time, if we have, which I think they normally report in October, I think off the top of my head, if that trading update is strong and the growth starts coming back and the margins settle down as well, and we potentially, if we see some improvement in the international side of it, that's when I'll pull the trigger, because until that happens, I can only see Boohoo sitting down at these sort of prices. So I'm in no rush to kind of capitalize on it. I'll kind of capitalize on that when I kind of see the Boohoo situation coming out of the other side, I guess. And I've also got to be careful because Boohoo's already quite a big position in my portfolio. So obviously I don't want to kind of, commit too big of an allocation into it as well. So yeah, I probably will buy Boohoo, but probably not for the next few months until I see the numbers start coming out the other side, I think, right now. But I'm still very much optimistic that this will do well in the next few years for sure. So that's my initial reaction off the Boohoo trading update. So for you guys that wanted to see this video, I hope it was useful, and if you could hit the like button if you're new, subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you all in a bit.